Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab. He used his distance. He had poise in the ring. He wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept his different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's part.
Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, nah.
But Crawford and Floyd Mayweather just went head-to-head live on air, and things got heated fast. Floyd tried to brush off Crawford's win over Canelo, saying Canelo was never that good anyway. But fans weren't buying it. They called it jealousy. 2 eras just collided. 2 kings who hate sharing the same throne. While Floyd's lining up exhibition fights with Mike Tyson, Crawford's busy dominating divisions. This wasn't just talk. It was a warning shot from boxing's new king. It all started with one question. Who's the better fighter, Floyd Mayweather or Terence Crawford?
And lastly for me, champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Crawford stayed calm, humble, composed. He said, Floyd paved the way, no question. But every generation has its king. I'm just doing me.
Everyone is going to start making comparisons with your legacy to Floyd Mayweather. How do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
You talk the talk and you sure walk the walk. Your confidence and aura is on another level. Could we see a run as a light heavyweight?
Nah. Nah, we ain't going out that much.
Now.
But you know Floyd, he didn't like that one bit. He leaned forward and snapped back. Canelo was never that good. Beating him doesn't make you me. The studio erupted. The live chat went wild. Because if there's one thing you don't do, it's disrespect what Crawford just accomplished.
But I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever, keep it real, boss. Keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fight. Yeah. I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll be this.
But you capping, bro. I never thought like fantasy fight me versus Floyd, nah?
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll beat his ass. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never been that type of person ever.
But didn't just beat Canelo. He dominated him. 12 rounds of surgical precision. No controversy, no excuses. Canelo, boxing's biggest star, made to look ordinary. While Floyd's preparing for a Tyson exhibition, Crawford's out here unifying boxing itself.
Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather is happening. What the f is going on? This is where boxing is in 2025. And listen, I'm not going to complain because I understand the layout of things. We already had Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. We have Jake Paul, Gervonta Tank Davis. This feels like the Temu version of it. And that sounds crazy because we have 2 of the greatest of all time about to participate in this, but both of them are about 30 years past their sell-by date in an exhibition bout in which their weights will be 60 to 70 to 80 pounds different. If you got on board with Jake and Mike, it was because at least they were going to weigh the same. I don't even know what to think. Someone on Twitter said it perfectly. Either everybody in the world is going to want to watch this or 10,000 people will watch it. Probably both men want a shit ton of money and they're being promised a shit ton of money, but it's happening.
Then Bud cut in. Then prove it. Not on Twitter, not in interviews, in the ring. And the internet lost its mind.
This is the situation, guys. No one has ever been a 4-division champion in boxing. Not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division.
Get them all.
Forever, the record was 3 by Henry Armstrong. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing. And he did it by jumping middle. He came lightweight, junior welter. Then he won a belt at junior middle, not the whole championship. And then skipped middle to fight Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed, for the Ring Magazine super middleweight championship of the world, and left no doubts, including with Canelo, who was all class after the fight but knew what had just happened.
Terence Crawford isn't chasing fame. He's rewriting history. 42 wins, 31 knockouts. The first male boxer to ever become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes: lightweight, welterweight, and super middleweight. And he did it the hard way. No cherry picking, no catch weights, no politics.
And I'm gonna get a lot of too, but honestly, there could be the way where you put Crawford over Mayweather. Because of going up, you didn't see Mayweather go up from 147 to 168. That's crazy, bro. And not even, and honestly, I thought Crawford was gonna have more of a hard time because he had a hard time with Madronov. So imagine going up to it. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I don't want to take nothing away from Mayweather. Mayweather is the greatest of all time. But I think that was a really big risk that Crawford took, and then he ended up winning. You know what I mean? So you have to give credit to that too. I mean, that's a big risk. That would be like me going up and fighting Usyk right now. Heavyweight.
I know that's been kind of hinted.
I'm not thinking of that right now. I'm not thinking of that right now. No, but that's kind of like how that'd be. You know what I mean? So you have to, bro. That's a lot of. He has a lot of balls to do that. And not only to go do that to show the world that he's really like that.
From dismantling Errol Spence Jr., a fighter everyone swore was too big, to walking up 2 weight classes and outboxing Canelo Alvarez in front of 70,000 fans. Crawford's not just the best right now. He might be the best ever.
He hurt Canelo a couple of times, and he looked spectacular. Congratulations to Terence Crawford for that great performance. And, man, it was a great fight.
Were you expecting more from Canelo?
I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting Canelo to knock out Crawford, to be honest with you, because it's 3-weight divisions. Well, he did fight one time at a higher division, but and to me, it's 3 ways, you know. He had to go up a lot in weight, and that's what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, you know, I got to give respect to Canelo. You know, he has done so much in boxing that it will be hard for somebody else to achieve and make. He trained hard, you know, and he said that he tried, but the body did not respond. And I've been saying that, you know, the body is worn out, you know. Canelo is young, but in boxing life, he's worn out.
Even analysts like Max Kellerman are saying it. Crawford's resume might be cleaner than Floyd's.
It's wild, because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster, and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. That makes a difference to people.
Because here's the truth. Floyd's 50-0 record is legendary, sure. But many of those fights came at the perfect time. Pacquiao slowed down. Mosley passed his prime. Crawford's taking fighters in their prime and shutting them down completely.
Who do you think's better out of those two? Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better. Bigger, like he's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather is really good too, though. You can't knock him as well. You know, he's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. And it would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, you know, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
While Floyd fought to protect his zero, Crawford fights to protect his legacy. That's why fans today don't care about numbers. They care about impact. And while Crawford's stock keeps climbing, Floyd's empire seems to be cracking.
Canelo couldn't really keep up with him. He was too fast. His footwork was too good.
Do you think the scores was right on, or do you think maybe it was a little more towards Bud?
What was the scorecards?
115, 113, 116, 112.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah?
I feel like Bud damn near basically won every round, so
yeah.
But yeah, that's about right. You can say that.
Now, with this accomplishment, Keyshawn, is he on the Mount Rushmore of
Hell
boxers?
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah?
3-time undisputed. He just beat Canelo.
Yeah.
The face of boxing. So now you can say Bud is the face of boxing.
Greatest of all time, or?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it can never be one great, but he definitely one of the greatest of all time, for sure.
Let's be real. Floyd Mayweather changed boxing forever. He turned it into $1 billion business. He made fighters rich just by saying his name. But lately, that shine is fading. The once best ever is now promoting circus fights, like his upcoming exhibition against Mike Tyson. Yes, 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Still dangerous. Still throwing bombs.
It was recently said that you're going to be fighting Floyd Mayweather. Why the hell did he agree to fight you? That seems like a bad decision by him.
Well, listen, I was minding my business. I'm flying my birds, tending to my children, and he's the one. He came with the sign. His name was on the contract signed already, and he's talking really bad and nasty to me. So I was like, God damn! I thought we were friendly, talking crazy.
He's all right. That's got to be such a cool thing for boxing fans, though, Mike, to have two of the all-time legends in there. Are you excited just to see the thing of that, like it was with you and Roy?
Nah, man, we want to get him, man. What you talking about? Start talking crazy, like kick his ass.
He doesn't know what he signed up for.
Yeah, I told the exhibition. He's talking crazy.
So he's like, but Mike, come on, man. He can't be doing anything to you. Like, that's a bad decision by him.
Hey, he made a good money choice, though.
And fans aren't impressed. What was once the best ever is now being called the greediest ever. Because this fight doesn't add to Floyd's legacy. It risks it. Even doctors and fighters are calling it reckless.
Well, Tyson, if there were some prearrangement for this fight, Tyson's animosity, well documented towards Floyd. Any chance that he's going in there and, saying, hey, screw all, I don't care what agreement was made, if there was one at all, I want to kill this dude?
No. He's going to get a check. Floyd's going to get a check. And they're going to get a check that's real huge because of their names. So nobody's finna fuck their money up.
Floyd's stepping in with a man who can still knock people out cold. And he's doing it for clicks, not competition. Meanwhile, Crawford's over here defending boxing soul. Real fights, real titles, real stakes. When the host asked Floyd, why not fight Crawford, he dodged it. I already proved everything.
They were saying that if he beats Canelo, it could put him as even the greatest of all time. What does that put him in the all-time list, man?
At least top 10.
At least
top 10 or top 15,
yeah.
Easily, There's guys that we may not know of or heard of, like Henry Armstrong. Simultaneously, he was 3 divisions carrying all 3 weight divisions at the same time.
Which performance was better? I don't like to compare them, but Crawford or Mayweather's over Canelo. Like it's just different.
It's just different styles, different looks, But the punching, the output that he was giving Canelo, definitely gave him the win.
Floyd said, I don't need to chase young fighters. Bud just smiled, because that silence said it all. He didn't have to yell or flex. Just one line shut the room down. I'm built different. I didn't chase money. I chased moments. And that hit Floyd like a body shot, because it's true. Floyd became a billionaire fighting safe. Crawford's becoming a legend fighting everyone.
I thought Terence fought a virtuoso fight. Terence never let Canelo get into a rhythm. Terence never allowed Canelo to to get anything going, and I didn't think he could do it for 12 rounds. I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for Canelo for that reason, but Terence was able to do it for 12 rounds, and in the later part of the fight, he kind of pushed the fight more than I think people expected, which is the mark of a superstar, man.
He's not hiding behind retirement. He's not calling out influencers or old names. He's taking real risks, doing what Floyd never did, daring to lose. That's why when Floyd said Canelo wasn't that good, it sounded bitter, because everyone knows Canelo was his guy. Floyd mentored him, and then watched Crawford dismantle him. Now Floyd calls Canelo washed. But Bud's win didn't just humble Canelo. It exposed how far Floyd's fallen. Crawford isn't chasing nostalgia. He's building boxing's future.
How are you feeling to be Chris Eubank's trainer, first of all?
It feels good, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been this trainer before, so
Yeah, it's good.
it's a no-brainer.
Of course. Congratulations on the win. What's your first reactions to Crawford's victory? One of the greats of this era, right?
Oh, definitely that. You know that.
What do you want to see him do now?
What I want to do now?
What do you want to see Crawford do next?
Turn this, do what he at this point now in his career where he could do whatever he wanted to do.
Who would you like to see him fight? Any names? Is there any names in particular you'd like to see?
It doesn't matter.
What about Canelo? Would you like to see him retire?
I don't. Canelo's not my responsibility.
Okay.
Right now, boxing's split in two. Floyd's side sells drama. Crawford's side sells legacy. When the Tyson fight was announced, fans didn't cheer, they cringed. Meanwhile, every time Crawford speaks, the sport listens. He's not calling out retirees. He's calling out champions. He's not asking for paydays. He's asking for challenges. Even legends like Roy Jones Jr. say Crawford may have already surpassed Floyd, because greatness isn't about records anymore. It's about risk, and Bud's taking them all.
Looking back at like Floyd's career, like him coming up in the era that he came up in, he had all them champions that he was able to fight, and that's what led him to be so great. You know, because he fought the most champions, beat the most champions. You know, got the most money for beating the most champions. So it's just like, man, he had this guy, back to back to fight, one after one.
The live chat went crazy. Half shouting TB, the best ever. The other half shouting TB to Bud's era. Comments poured in. Mayweather sold his legacy. Crawford doesn't talk, he delivers. Mike Tyson fight? That's a Netflix disaster waiting to happen. Even fighters are split. Shakur Stevenson sided with Crawford. We're witnessing greatness. Appreciate while it's here. Calvin Ford stayed neutral. Both are goats of their own eras. And maybe that's the truth. Floyd built the platform. Crawford's reminding the world why boxing matters.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I
Floyd
love you, Terrence.
always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ in
But
that
the
shit
funny
is
thing
crazy.
about it is Terrence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But you gotta
can't
have
say
an
everybody-
OG somewhere.
Anybody
though.
else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody got
somewhere
a pioneer,
that you can't
right?
out-figure
Yeah,
out.
yeah, you gotta.
There's
yeah.
an OG you can't out-figure out somewhere,
yeah,
and I just
yeah.
believe Floyd is that
the
OG
one.
you can't out-figure out.
Every era has its icon. Ali passed it to Tyson. Tyson to Floyd. Now Floyd's watching that torch burn in Crawford's hands. The difference? Bud didn't ask for it. He earned it. Floyd mastered the business of boxing. Crawford mastered the art of it. He's not ducking. He's not waiting. He's fighting giants and making them look small.
Saw you before the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. Go. Greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course. Of course he is.
While Floyd's chasing headlines with Mike Tyson, Crawford's chasing immortality. That's why this live interview mattered. It wasn't about ego. It was about evolution. Floyd built the sport's foundation. Crawford's building its future. And when the camera stopped rolling, one thing was clear. Floyd is the blueprint. Crawford is the upgrade.
I beat this guy. It's an excuse. I beat this guy. You know, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
So when Bud said, if you still think you're the best, prove it in the ring, you could see Floyd's jaw tighten. Because deep down, even he knows, Crawford isn't just the face of boxing. He is boxing. So what do you think? Has Mayweather's time finally passed? Or is there one last fight left in the legend? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe for more fight breakdowns.